Joining me today on the autoX Bulletin is Mr. Manohar Bhat, Head Sales and Marketing at Kia Motors India. Manohar, good to see you again and welcome, and it's good to see you back in the office as well.
Thanks, Drew. It's quite some times we, I think, really had a face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, jumping straight into it, there's been a lot of talk that's been made about the stimulus package, the 20 lakh crore stimulus package. I just wanted to get your opinion. The markets have been kind of quizzical about it. I saw something today, in fact, where Rajiv Bajaj said that it's too complicated and not as straightforward as it should be, or as similar stimulus packages have been elsewhere in the world. What do you think? Is it what we need? Is it too complicated, or is it okay?
See, I believe that this is not the entire package that has been announced. They only announced the top, that 20 lakh crore one. That is the only one, but the parts of it are still to be put in. So my comment is as follows. See, what they've done so far possibly has tackled the portion of the funds not being available to MSMEs and other, and also the bottom of the society, that strata has been given some support now. That's all fine. But now to make it successful, I believe that last part of what is stimulus, the demand stimulus is what is required, consumption stimulus.
Yeah.
So that part I think has not been addressed so far. Once that gets addressed, then this thing will be completely, it will be more of a whole. It will be more, otherwise no point giving money to your MSMEs if what they produce is not going to really get consumed.
Yeah.
If the pull is not there, there's no point. And secondly, see, for what I was saying about consumption stimulation, it has worked very well in the last recession, the recession that we had in 2008. So immediately government had reduced excise on automobiles and other goods. So immediately they saw a spurt in demand, which is what possibly we require today.
Yeah.
So my humble suggestion to the government, for what it is worth, is that a direct stimulus like this in terms of reduction of tax, maybe I don't know what Mr. Rahul Bajaj who has said, but I believe this would be possibly more impactful than other measures.
Yeah, and we've seen some states already make some changes to the labor laws. You folks have just set up a huge factory recently in Anantapur. Do you think if the labor laws were different, it would have helped you? I mean, the idea behind this is to attract new investment. So would it have changed anything at your end?
See, that I think will, frankly, the changes in the labor law and how they impact us required to be studied. As far as we are concerned, today we are in a good position at our plant in Andhra Pradesh. We don't have much of a problem here as of now. So it's a slightly more difficult question to answer just now, off the cuff.
And getting into your model specifically, because the Seltos has just seen phenomenal success ever since launch. But now post-lockdown with demand maybe not being as strong as it was, also the Creta, the brand new Creta, the Hyundai Creta, which is sort of sister company, has just been launched. So what do you think happens to the Seltos and the market going forward?
See, I would like to put it like that we are cautiously optimistic for two reasons. Like one, during the lockdown, we still were receiving bookings and also obviously some cancellations also. The heartening part is whatever we got around, I think almost 1,000 odd bookings is what we got. But the cancellation, what people were very afraid is going to be like a huge number of cancellations, that has not been seen at all. So to that extent, I'm very cautiously optimistic that moving forward, things will not be as bad as our worst our nightmares or the worst predictions are showing. Now, I mean, coming to competition, so we are again very, very confident about the overall package that the Seltos represents. It represents the Kia design, which is very unique in itself. I don't think there is still a better looking SUV in the Indian market today. Then, of course, the quality of the vehicle. It is again, everyone who's used the vehicle will vouch for that, as have customers in other countries. Third is the features that we've fitted in spite of what others have tried so far, they've not been able to match it. And I think it will take quite some time for them to match it. Then the other is one, we are the proud winners of WCOT also for the vehicle in the US, which again, it shows our pedigree, I believe. So all this gives us the, I think, momentum going forward to take on any challenge. So we are, I would say more than cautiously optimistic in this case.
So just taking a lead from what you were mentioning right now, WCOT being the World Car of the Year awards. So the Kia Telluride won World Car of the Year for 2020, and the Kia Soul EV won World Urban Car of the Year. So congratulations on both those wins. I've had the pleasure of driving both cars, and especially the Telluride, which is a brand new SUV currently primarily aimed at the North American market, but something that could be a great flagship product for our market as well. Any studies being done to see if it makes sense for a market like ours?
Yeah, I think we'll do it now. We got the wind in our sails now with the Telluride getting the WCOT award. So we'll look at it. It's also it's like basically a brand booster also for us. And we are very happy and proud to have won it. And thank you all for having chosen the Telluride. So going forward,
What about on the EV? What about on the EV front? Because a lot of people have been saying that, in Delhi and Gurgaon especially, we've, courtesy of the lockdown, been seeing how quickly the air quality has cleaned up and improved. Will that encourage people to look more closely at vehicular pollution and maybe therefore adopt EVs? Or with the challenges in the economic environment going forward, anyway, EVs might get pushed out even further? What do you think?
I'm not sure how much the COVID thing would impact the EV adoption. Because again, maybe I've not seen any scientific data on this as to how much vehicular pollution is contributing to the overall haze and the smog and all that in Delhi and Gurgaon. So frankly, on many days after the lockdown also, I could see I couldn't see the Aravallis from my flat, for example. There's a lot of smog still. So there are other contributors other than vehicular pollution also. So how much exactly vehicular pollution is contributing to the overall thing is, I think, still a matter under study. No one has given any figures on that. But again, having said that, yes, electrification is possibly still the way forward for us. I don't know about fuel cell vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, that might be still further in the future. But then yes, the next step possibly is electrified cars. I think I'm not sure the timetable would change because of the COVID, because there's no direct linkage, I believe. But having said that, yes, we at Kia, we got enough vehicles, and also the Soul is leading the way here as far as we are concerned. So we have got enough vehicles also. We've got, I think, another 12 vehicles coming up by 2025. So we are very well positioned here. So we'll get in a vehicle whenever the Indian customer starts asking for an electric vehicle in some numbers. But like I always say, my first task is make sure that my capacity of 300,000 at the Anandpur plant is taken up. So right now, electric vehicles are selling in comparatively lesser numbers. So for the effort that I had to put in, for the investment that I had to make, really does not make much sense just now. So first, let me finish off. Let's use the capacity of 300,000 to other vehicles that the customer wants today, and then go look at electric vehicles. I think that is the strategy that we'll be following.
And the other sort of possible challenge that the lockdown has posed is on the BS6 fuels front. Obviously, your vehicles have all been BS6 from day one. Any issues that you faced on that front at all?
No, just some minor issues in some places where apparently adulteration was an issue. There's some fuel issues in some places, but otherwise, the rest of the country, absolutely no issues.
And your other most recent launch was the Carnival. Again, that was just pre-lockdown. How's that going?
I would really wish that we had launched it slightly earlier, because like you said, almost as soon as we launched it, we had to stop it because of the COVID response. So it's like a very, very it's a messy thing just now. A lot of customers who I think we have invoiced vehicles couldn't take delivery and things like that. I think it's very, very early just now to give a very firm answer on what exactly it's going to be going. But yes, COVID situation will make the market also, I think differently maybe, especially for bigger vehicles. So it remains to be seen. So it could have a dampener on this part of the market.
Because again, as a product, it's a phenomenal product. But as we've seen in the past in the Indian market, that initial period of launch is very crucial. So how do you get a product like that? Again, one which is quite pricey in the grand scheme of things, in the overall market perspective. How do you get a product like that to accelerate again in the current scenario?
when we launch a product, we have a lot of publicity, your advertisement campaign, digital campaigns around it. So unfortunately, much of that has been actually we have been punching empty air or thin air actually, because it's not had any impact because of the lockdown. So now to again recreate that is going to be a Herculean task. I would rather depend on our field sales force to start establishing contact with individual customers and selling them the vehicle. That's the only way I think forward just now. Starting another campaign possibly is really not on the cards. A grand campaign for this. But having said that, yes, like there was a lot of traction for the Carnival. Whoever has driven the vehicle has been sold on it, I would say. So I think we would going forward, we'll try to give more opportunities for the customers to try out the vehicle. So giving test drives and displaying the vehicles at at the best possible places for this, and then touching base with all the intenders. That will be the way to go forward.
And coming back to the sort of fuels for a second, the Carnival has an AdBlue tank, so it requires AdBlue after a certain period. A lot of folks, because international travel, especially with the summer approaching and international travel not possible, might be looking to acquire a big family car like a Carnival and maybe head out for a long road trip. Would the availability of AdBlue and even possibly in remote areas, maybe like Leh Ladakh, would anything like that pose a challenge, or do you think that availability even in far remote places is already taken care of?
I believe it's already been taken care of, at least on the highways and all that can still get it, because the trucks and other your large diesel engines do require it even today. So apparently the availability is not at all bad on the highways. Having said that, the tank capacity also is pretty large, 14 liters. It's going to last you a long time. A single drive is not going to be exhausting it. So actually, in between, during your vehicle servicing, will most likely replenish it, and that will be more than enough to take you forward even to the next servicing whenever that is scheduled. So there's enough room, enough mileage in one tank, in one AdBlue tank. So it should not be any. There should not be any concern from any customer on this one.
And next big product which is expected is the Sonet. Again, with the Seltos, you've made such a huge mark in the market. Will the Sonet make as much of an impact? Because obviously back in Seoul now at headquarters, I suppose they'll be expecting every new model that you launch to be as successful as the first. So what's the secret sauce that the Sonet will have?
No, the same sauce or DNA as the Seltos had. Great design. I believe it's got a very good response when we displayed it in the Auto Expo. And the final vehicle is going to be even better than that possibly. Then the quality, the best the quality of the Seltos, that is I think so very well spoken about in the market. And thirdly, the features. Again, it will have features that no other vehicle in its segment and possibly some other vehicles above it also have. It will have much more than that. So we believe that overall is going to be a package that is going to be irresistible in this segment and to this customer. So in spite of the market not being very very positive at that time, like as in the case of Seltos also, the market was not, I think, doing too well when we launched it. So we still believe that we'll have a very good response. So we would like to stick to the same launch schedule as we had in the pre-COVID time. We would like to stick to that. Maybe August, September, October, the festival season is when we will launch it. So we have big hopes, and we are very optimistic about the future of this product.
And you feel that sales will start to pick up by that time?
One would hope so. Again, it's once in a lifetime event. So there's no back data or nothing we can base our predictions on. So I would only hope that whatever package the government has given will start moving the wheels of our economy quickly, and GDP also does not suffer too much, because ultimately car sales is almost directly dependent on the growth of our GDP. So if it comes into negative, then I think God help us. If it is still in the positive and the momentum is good, like say 2% or something growth, then I still believe that we can have growth quickly. Maybe in August, September, during the festival season, we'll have a lot of people coming to buy vehicles also. Otherwise, it may be a long haul.
Yeah, and do you think the face of the retail experience will change? I mean, what do you make of the potential shift to online sales?
Well, see, Kia was the first company, I believe, to have a fully online sales system for the customer right from the beginning. When we launched our product, we had this online system. That means by online, I mean online inquiry, online booking, and also online financing by banks, and then retailing, then the invoicing of the vehicle also is possible online. Yes, with this COVID as well, there'll be a lot of people who are not very keen on entering a car showroom. But I believe what is going to happen is he will do much more of his transactions online. But he'll still possibly would like to come to the showroom to kick the tires, to check the vehicle, but it's still a high involvement purchase. It's a high investment also for him. Next to his home investment, this is going to be the next biggest investment that he's going to make. So it's unlikely, I believe, that a customer will never enter a showroom, never touch the vehicle that he's going to buy, and just do everything online. Unlikely to happen. But then this will give convenience to the customer. He's going to use a lot of it, while still coming maybe in a lesser number of times to the showroom, but he'll still possibly come to the showroom and check the vehicle out before he purchases it. Yeah, but yes, the psychology of the customer could be, okay, let's avoid going to a showroom so it's possibly going to be continuing for the next couple of months. But overall, I believe still it will be a mere blip, because these are very sort of the habits are very ingrained in people. It's very difficult for them to change overnight. 40 days of COVID does not mean that he'll suddenly change and become a totally new person. I believe that we'll see a blip in the sense that initially the visits to the showroom, to the malls will possibly go down. But going forward, I think it will be, well, if not back to exactly the same day, it will be almost there. Not going to be much less than what it was earlier, I believe.
And I mean, from a numbers and targets point of view, obviously it's a bit of a challenge at the moment just because we've seen zero sales in the past month. So, I mean, you've already seen that Kia has taken a huge chunk of market share. Would that be a target going forward? Because numbers at the moment have been thrown off whack. Having said that, you've already acquired so much market share. So will you look at maybe market share growth and more acquisition on that front, or will there still be actual numbers targets going forward?
See, ultimately, in the medium term, that has to be a number challenge, because right now we have invested in a 300,000 capacity plant. So we would like to utilize the 300,000 capacity in the domestic market. So that is the first challenge. So numbers wise, yes, there is a number that we have got in mind. So when we can achieve that number is the question. So ultimately, see, frankly, market share was never our aim. We are only, like I always said, we are looking at selling 300,000 vehicles ASAP. So that still remains the target. So we've got another vehicle, the third vehicle also to go with it. So let's see how many we can sell. It will still be a numbers game. We'll have to sell a large number to be important players in the Indian market. So that is always going to be the case. But it's going to be numbers more than market share, I believe. So for me, market share really doesn't make a difference. If I sell 200,000, I sell 200,000. Just 10% of that makes it 20%. Neither here nor there.
Yeah. And from a work from home perspective, how have the last 2 months been? And do you feel that is more sustainable going forward? Will our patterns change in terms of how we work and from where?
Okay, from a personal perspective, I believe it's like amazingly more productive than I would have imagined. It's not bad at all. So I would believe that many companies, I think Twitter has in the US already said that they will work from home as a rule. So I think logically it does make a lot of sense. I believe some banks also in India are considering more work at home. So maybe it does make a lot of sense. At least investment wise and productivity wise, it doesn't make any difference. So investment wise, it makes even more sense. So I believe we'd see more of it going forward. And I think better for the employees, better for the environment also, better for everyone if we have more work from home. So I'm good with it. It's not a bad idea at all.
Thank you, Manohar. Thank you for your insights. And I'm looking forward to the Sonet sooner rather than later. So I'm hoping that your timeline comes sooner rather than later, and I can get behind the wheel of a new car. So look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Dhruv. Pleasure talking to you as always. Thank you.
Thank you.